eighth inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone! Home run! And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Wednesday episode of Flippin' Bats, and we got a great guest for you today. Corbin Carroll, the 22-year-old outfield for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I am pumped to bring him on. As many of you know who have listened to the show, I am the self-proclaimed leader of the Corbin Carroll bandwagon. I've been a big fan of his since he came up, big fan of the player he is on the field and the person that he is off the field. And Corbin Carroll, a young player, young prospect for the Diamondbacks, 22 years old, has all the tools you can imagine, which is why he was my pick to win NL Rookie of the Year. So I'm pumped to bring him on and talk to him about the start to his baseball career and some of his experiences he's had so far, going through the draft, getting the call up to the big leagues, a welcome to the big leagues moment, and some goals he has throughout his career. So this is going to be a blast of a conversation. I'm excited, and I hope you all are as well. So without further ado, let's bring on Arizona Diamondbacks outfielder Corbin Carroll. All right, and I am pumped to welcome him in now, outfielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. Corbin, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. So I need to ask you this first. I know you're from Seattle, probably grew up a huge Mariners fan, left-handed outfielder. I imagine there's a world in which you're a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan, but I know you're still only 22 years old, and I couldn't stop but thinking about this. You probably only got to see Griffey in his age 40 season when he came back at the very end, right?
Yes. Really weird, but still feel like he had an impact on me. I think every kid from Seattle was watching his swing on YouTube, right, and trying to emulate it. But yeah, he was kind of gone by the time I was there.
Have you gotten to go play there as a big leaguer yet, or no?
No, I've actually just never played there at all. We were like a game away in high school from getting to play a game there, but never played there.
So now this year is the first year that every team will play everybody. Do you go to Seattle or do they come to you?
They come to us.
Oh, all right. So it'll be next year, but we're getting close. I want to ask you about, I like asking everybody this story because I feel like it's a special day for everybody in their life. But in 2019, you were drafted, first round pick. Walk me through your draft day story and how it was for you and your family that day.
Yeah, super special day. Just decided that I wanted to spend it with some close friends and family and coaches. Had school that morning, drove home from school, kind of around 3-ish. And that was perfect because helped me just take my mind off all that. And then, got home, and I think the draft was maybe 30 minutes after I got home. Sat around till I got the call, and then, got to share it with that moment and that celebration with those people, who'd had such a big impact on me. So really, really special day for me, and very cool to be able to share it with them.
Was it an easy decision for you ultimately? Obviously, first rounder, that helps the decision, but you were also committed to UCLA. What was the decision process like for you? And the second you were drafted in the first round, did you kind of know you were going to go?
No, I mean, I think being drafted where I was and to the team that I was, kind of the relationships that I'd formed with some of the front office personnel, at that point I kind of realized, this is the path that I'm going to take. And, when they called and I say, yes, this is my commitment to them. But no, I had a great relationship with the coaches. I was committed to UCLA, Coach Ward and Coach Savage down there. I would have felt pretty comfortable going down there to school and, taking that route as well.
I've always loved Savage. I grew up in Virginia and played college ball over there. But when I came out here during the off season when I was playing professionally. I lived close to UCLA's field, so I got to like know Savage well, and he let me hit every day in their cages. And like the first day I show up, he's like, "Yeah, you can go hit now. The guy that's in there knows you're coming." And it was Giancarlo Stanton. And I was like, all right, so he just has me hitting with Stanton on like day one coming out here. That's pretty nice of him. So you end up getting drafted in 2019, and it's kind of a weird time. I can't imagine being a high schooler, getting drafted in 2019, having a good first year, and then the COVID year hits. You're at like an alternate site. What is that first year and a half like for you as a professional athlete, and how was the alternate site for you as well?
Yeah, definitely, pretty atypical. First, honestly, 2.5 years for me. If you throw in a shoulder injury as well in 21.
Yep.
And so, you know, 19 was awesome for me. I got to spend some time in the glorious AZL, and then the Northwest League as well. And the Northwest League was, had some really cool memories there. That first, half season there in 19. Got to play a game real close to Seattle in Everett, and it was summertime. So a bunch of friends, and had a good showing out there. A good low contingent, and that was really cool to be able to play in front of that many family and friends.
Yeah.
As well as going into a ending that season off with a championship. We won the Northwest League championship, so just really fun memories looking back on that first half year. And then COVID. Had a I think they were pretty aggressive with their plan for us that year. They basically had us there from January, and then they wanted us to stay there January, February, March, go out and play the season. So we'd been there for a little while. Was feeling good, and then obviously we got shut down mid-March, and then went back to Seattle. Did what I could do to stay ready there, and then was real fortunate to be able to get some games in with some older competition at our alternate site.
So you were what, like 19, maybe 20, and you're there with big league guys, like guys that were like on the fringe of the big leagues, and it's just like this really weird group of players all together in one, like just trying to figure out how to stay good at baseball and also like how to stay fine and safe in this area. That had to be weird.
Definitely. Weird in a good way, though. I got to meet some people that I wouldn't get to meet in a normal year.
Yeah.
Right. In a normal year, I would have been off in low A, Kane County. And instead getting to play with some of our double A and triple A players, getting to meet them, getting to meet players like, Alec Thomas, who I'm playing with now,
Yep.
Josh Rojas, Pavin Smith. Just I think in a weird way, those connections being formed then has kind of helped us now.
Kane County, not the most glamorous stop on your journey, I would imagine.
Yeah, once they shut us down, I think they actually kind of axed that one, so I just ended up getting out there.
That was one of my first in the Midwest League. That was one of my first trips. I played in Grand Rapids for the Whitecaps, and that whole like side of the league is all beautiful stadiums, like Dayton, the Dragons, and Fort Wayne, beautiful stadiums. And then that a whole other side, Kane County, like Beloit, it was all like the complete opposite. I was like, oh, this is an interesting place to play pro ball. But you end up doing really well after the shutdown, 2021 and 22. And in 2022, you ultimately end up getting a call up towards the end of the year and had a little bit of big league time. So I love asking everybody that comes on this question because I feel like it's very important and a very special moment in everybody's life. And as a guy that got to the point where I was one phone call away but never got it, I love asking people about it. So how did that come about? Obviously, you're still in the minor leagues, AAA at the time, I believe, and you hear somehow you're going to the big leagues. What was that moment like?
So it was our uh, our manager in AAA Reno, Gil Velasquez, he told me basically like, hey, like there's with the chance that you get called up this year, our player director Josh Barfield called and he said that we're allowed to start, pinch hitting you and getting you in defensive replacement late, like, so just kind of be prepared for that, as we try and get you adjusted to what might happen up there.
Yeah.
And so he'd said that earlier in the day, or I think it was earlier in the day, and and then he goes maybe sixth or seventh inning. He goes, "Hey, Gorb, like, our left fielder's not feeling too hot. Like, get ready to go in." So I'm stretching to go in the game, and I just feel like a hand on my shoulder. He goes, "Hey, everyone, listen up." He goes, Corb's going to the big leagues, and so my mind was I was just caught off guard. I mean, I was getting ready to go in the game, and he dropped that one on me. So that was, they got me pretty good.
Who was your first, like, who'd you call the second that game ends? Who was your first call?
Like I called my mom and dad, but the reason that they'd done it mid game is because somehow it already found its way online, and they wanted me to be able to like call my parents before they saw, but they'd already seen. So like I called my mom and she's already got like a big smile. I'm like, oh, she already knows for sure.
Oh, God. All right. So you end up going up to the big leagues. I think you had about 32 games in the big leagues last year. Did you have, in that short amount of time, did you have like a welcome to the big leagues moment that happened to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first inning that I was out there, I had like a 15% catch probability, 115 mile an hour, top spun liner from Harper, and went down into a dive, kind of clunky dive, and didn't get it. And that was a long walk back to the fence to go get that ball. That was pretty immediate. First inning of
Yeah,
defense.
it got you quick. That is the loneliest jog an outfielder can possibly make, is the ball that's been missed and you have to go to the outfield wall. I'll never forget one time in the minor leagues, I missed a ball coming in. It was like a low sinking liner, and I was mostly playing right field. So it was a righty that hit it, so it was tailing away from me. Tried to shoestring catch it, missed it, and I had to run all the way to the wall. There was a runner on first, and I get back there. I'm on the warning track. I get to the wall, and the ball is like 6 inches in front of the padding. So I've never done this in my life, but I had the thought of like, I'm just going to turn around and put my hands up and kick the ball and wedge it under the padding as I'm like turning around. So I throw my hands up and I kick the ball and it gets wedged underneath, and the umpire comes out and is like, "Yep, ground rule double, runner back to third." I was like, that might be the smartest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, good on you.
So what did you end up learning about yourself in that process of the 32 games you played up there? You get to head into an off season as a big leaguer. What do you think you learned about yourself the most in those a few games you had in the big leagues?
Yeah, obviously, just getting a look at big league pitching. That was, I'm real grateful that I got that opportunity to do that last year. Just start feeling that out a little bit. I think just gave me a little added confidence. I think just you've got to see it, right? You've got to see that the ball doesn't rise an extra 3 feet. It doesn't,
It's baseball.
Curveballs aren't drop. Yeah, exactly. Like I think you've got to get that phase out of the way, and so to be able to do that kind of at the end of the year, already in the rhythm of the season, and then take that into this year, that was a big part there, and then also just the importance of if you can really hammer down the play great defense, run the bases at a high clip.
Yeah.
Just the importance of that and doing that well. And, I think that was just something that was an area of note for me. It's like I'd always heard it. We've had great outfield and base running coaches. but just to experience that was important as well.
Is the first time you run in the big leagues a little more intimidating than any other time? It's like, will I be able to steal bags up here in the big leagues? Is that like a thought in your mind the first time you go to steal?
Yeah, I think there's just maybe a little bit more pressure
Yeah.
to be perfect, right? Like it actually there's just an element of this counts more obviously, right, than the minor leagues. And,
Yeah.
you don't want to do something that's going to hurt your team.
Yeah.
And so I'd agree with that. I think that for some players at least, it was for me. Maybe that's a little bit more in their mind.
So you head into this off season, and I saw you guys in Salt River got this new like hit lab. Tell me about this place. Like, what's in there? What makes this place so cool?
The hitting coach has said I'm not allowed to say.
You're not allowed to say. They
Can't give
don't.
away our secret, man.
All right, that's fair enough. That's
No, I'm
like
kidding.
it's like the I remember when my brother first got traded to the Astros. They were so ahead like analytically from, well, he had come from the Tigers, who were like in the dark ages at the time, and go to the Astros. And I remember he was like, they have like the technology they have is like next level from anything I've experienced. And I feel like that's this situation is they're like, well, you can't tell anybody what we got going on here, Corbin.
Yeah, I know, but real, good resource for us to just, I think, keep learning about, ourselves and our swing and how we see the ball. That was pretty cool that they, ended up doing that for us.
I don't think this will give too much away, but you never know. Maybe there's something special there. But I saw this offseason you were focusing on left-handed pitching and lefty-lefty matchups. How do you do that in an offseason? Is there like a machine that's capable of like making you feel that way? Were you like trying to face college guys throwing left-handed? Like when you go into an offseason wanting to work on lefty-lefty matchups, how did you go about it?
Yeah, I think, some angled machine work, just trying to find some cues and some thoughts
Yeah.
that I could take with me from that and like kind of have a tool bag of those thoughts to be able to pull out
Yeah.
and kind of apply towards the season. And I've been pretty happy with the way that that's gone so far. And there's a lot more work to be done there, but I've just got to keep plugging away.
It's a very young organization as a whole. So you get called up last year. This is your technical rookie season. Who in the organization is like an older vet that you've maybe become close with or kind of like leaned on as a rookie?
Yeah, we've got a couple guys. We've got we acquired Evan Longoria this offseason, and Longo's been amazing.
Guy still rakes.
Yes, he does. We've got Nick Ahmed, who kind of coming off a season where he wasn't the healthiest, and just getting him back and his presence, that's been important as well. And then two other people I would name would be Josh Rojas and Christian Walker. They're super smart guys. They've always just got a different way of thinking about things, and I always appreciate hearing that.
Do you guys have any, like when I was in the Tigers organization, you go to spring training or sometimes they're just roving around from city to city, but do you guys have any like legends of the organizations that are constantly around with the Tigers? We had Mr. Kaline and Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson, Willie Horton. As a member of the D-backs organization, you walk into spring training day one. Are there any legends walking around?
Yeah, so Luis Gonzalez is around a ton.
Love that.
He'll travel on some of the road trips with us. He's always there, and great guy. Always willing to have a conversation. So he's always around, and then Randy Johnson's around a good bit as well.
Sick. That's sweet. Speaking of legends, I grew up a massive Atlanta Braves fan. Being from Virginia, the Nationals weren't there, and Braves were on TV every single night. I grew up a
Yeah.
big Braves fan. I wore number 25 for Andrew Jones, and now his son is in the organization, Drew Jones. How excited are you to watch his development and hopefully maybe eventually share an outfield with him in Arizona for a long time to come?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's just getting started out, and I'm so, just excited to see kind of how his process develops and comes together. I think he's going to be a really great ball player, and I think it's just a matter of when, right? And you know, with a player of his talent, I think I'd I'd bet on sooner than later.
Yeah. This this year, I feel like coming into this year, the main talking point around baseball was these new rules. And I feel like of every team, the D-backs have been the most perfectly positioned to take advantage of these rules, right? You guys are young, you're fast, you run the bases well, which has been a huge bonus for teams, is one of the rules being the new bases. Coming into this year, you know, day one of spring training, Torey Lovullo sits you guys down, and is there a conversation about like, hey guys, like these new rules this year, we're going to take advantage of them and we're going to do things a little bit differently? Was there a talk about that and how you guys are going to go about being aggressive this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just had thorough process, right, as an organization. Um, I think just once these new changes to baseball were added, I think kind of all angles were considered of how can this be a weapon for us? And I think we've done a good job at it so far of of being aggressive, but being aggressive in a smart way, and not necessarily making too many unnecessary outs on the base paths. Um, but I think that just as long as it continues to benefit us, then we should take full advantage of it.
Did you set a goal for yourself this year, stolen base wise, like a number? Did you set one or no?
No, I didn't set a number. You know, sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Um, I go back and forth arguing if it's beneficial or not, but just as many as possible, right? Like, I guess that's the goal at the end of the day.
All right, put
But hey,
on.
if we're up 10-0 in every game and I don't have to steal a base for the rest of the year, I'm okay with that too.
All right, put on your future thinking cap here, and I need an answer from you. The D-backs single season stolen base record is 72. Now we got bigger bases, they're closer together. At some point in your career, can you break that 72 number? That's a big
You know,
number.
yeah, I'd love to. I think we've got one of the best base running coaches around in Dave McKay over with us there at first base, and you know, I think that'd be something cool to do for him if I was able to do that.
Do you set goals for yourself heading into a season? Obviously, you said there's not a number that I put on stolen bases. So last year you get those 32 games in the big leagues. This year you break camp with the team. What are some goals you had for yourself heading into this season specifically?
Yeah, maybe more like guidelines or just parts of my process that I want to check in with and make sure are up to par for me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think about those things before the season for sure, and then kind of reevaluate as needed throughout the season.
Is there in the game of baseball, is there a faster player in the game right now than Corbin Carroll?
I don't know. I mean, shoot, line us all up and let us at it. But there's some real fast guys out there, and I appreciate watching their craft as well. Not just like the full out, just the sprint speed, but there's some real good base runners as well. I've enjoyed watching a couple of my 2019 high school guys go out there and create some havoc, and Bobby Witt and Anthony Volpe.
Yep.
So, just it's fun to watch.
There's some conversation that you might not even be the fastest guy on the team. In fact, there might be a pitcher that's faster than you. I need to hear about this, Corbin. Dre Jameson apparently is fast, and I've heard stories that he's faster than you. Who's faster between the two of you?
Yeah, no, I mean he's a freak. He throws 100 miles an hour and dunks from standstill, and so he's just an athletic freak. It's been really fun playing in the field behind him. He's done a great job so far in a variety of roles. He started out for us in the bullpen, and then we had an injury, and he moved back into the rotation. And doesn't matter what role he's in. He's a real good competitor and just a winner. So it's been cool watching him develop. Obviously, since we were drafted together in 19.
If it's any consolation, in MLB The Show, you're a 99 speed and he's a 35 speed. So I don't know how accurate that is, but you got the edge there, that's for sure.
He's not gonna like to hear that. I might have to let him know about that.
No, absolutely. I was looking at it last night because I saw an article that about Lovola talking about him potentially like being used as a pinch runner at some point if need be. That's how good of an athlete he is. So I looked it up and was like, I wonder if the game knows how fast he is. And he was a 35 speed. And I was like, nope, apparently they don't.
Not. Yeah. Shoot.
So you congratulations on your new deal, by the way. Just signed 8 years, $111 million, potential for an option there for a 9th year. So congratulations on that. Much deserved already, I think, and I'm excited to watch you prove that on the field. Have you yet made first big purchase after you sign your contract? Car, house, something for your parents, anything in there?
Nothing yet. Yeah, I mean, I love the spot I'm in right now. I love my car. Definitely might have to get something for the parents in there, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty content with the things that I have and the just the people around me, and so just don't really feel much need for a change. Just kind of want to continue being that same guy and
Yeah.
having those same values, and yeah.
Love it. Speaking of your parents, I saw for the World Baseball Classic, I believe it's because of your mom, but you had the potential to play for Team Chinese Taipei in the World Baseball Classic. Ultimately, didn't end up doing it. Wanted to focus on this season. What were your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic this year? And after it ended up turning into what it did, was there any man, I should have been a part of this?
Yeah, it was really fun to watch. Made it out to the USA Mexico game over at Chase, and got to watch my buddy Alec Thomas, and then
Oh yeah.
our third base coach Tony Perez Chica was coaching as well, and my AAA manager was coaching Gail Velasquez. So that was really fun. I enjoyed watching that crazy crowd at Chase. I'd never seen Chase that way before. So I think kind of just gave us some, it's like, hey, if we start playing some good baseball, maybe
Yeah.
we'll be able to turn Chase into kind of that scene.
2026 rolls around and you're asked to either play for Chinese Taipei again or for Team USA. At that point, you're an established big leaguer. Is that something you would want to be a part of in the future?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of growing up, it's the Stanton home run at Petco or the Adam Jones catch. Like,
Yep.
there's some really memorable moments of kind of growing up watching that, that I think kind of inspire me to, I'd like to do something like that one day.
All right, I got a couple fun questions for you before we finish up. First of which being, obviously, very short big league career so far. I think you're probably right around the 50 game mark. But favorite thing that you have done so far in your career?
Favorite thing I've done so far in my career? Huh.
Could be a homer, a catch and center, anything really. Could be something off the field. Who knows?
I'd say
Something came into your head. I
I
saw
mean I mean
it.
yeah, but I'm not gonna go there. I'll just say hitting homers. I mean, right? Like there's not too many better feelings than hitting a homer. So yeah, that's been it's been fun getting a couple of those in the book.
Yeah, I saw the one the other day. Sandy Alcantara to dead center. That was some big boy pop out there to center field in that stadium. That was impressive. All right, so far your favorite place. Take Chase Field out of it. Favorite place to play so far that you've visited in your big league career.
Hmm, that's a good one. I think the one that honestly pops in my head right away is Dodger Stadium. Just kind of that rivalry energy of like their fans get on us pretty good, and they've got good sound. Their sound system's rocking, so it creates a fun environment. I enjoy playing there. Uh, Definitely just kind of hidden up in those California hills. Just feels like baseball.
Do you have a least favorite place you've visited, like a city or stadium?
um, Least favorite.
It's funny. Most of the established vets that I've had on, it's been like Oakland Coliseum to a T, all of them. But I don't even know if you've been there yet. But it's
I have not.
it's
I
the
have not
first
been
one
there
that
yet.
pops into all their heads is
That's
Oakland.
funny. Maybe I'll go Milwaukee. Not because of anything about the fans or the stadium or
Yeah.
anything like that, but uh, apparently the hotel's haunted. So I was kind of creeped out the whole time that I was there, just like thinking about that.
Did anything happen to you? Are you all good?
No, it didn't, but there's people that swear by it.
That's what I've heard about the hotel in Tampa that I know when the playoffs a couple of years ago, I went down when the Astros were playing in the playoffs against Tampa. And apparently that stadium or that hotel is extremely haunted in St. Pete. And I heard some stories about guys that have come through there and like refused to stay on in a
Yeah.
certain wing of the hotel because of stories that they've heard of that have happened. So whenever you go to Tampa, make sure you be careful.
All right, I'll be on the lookout.
um, so as what was as the this is a question I wanted to start asking people because the last couple of weeks there's been a little bit more talk of expansion in the league, and there was that Utah situation that came up, and I know Nashville is a possibility. So I wanted to ask you, let's assume the league expands in the next 4-5 years, let's say. What is a city that you would like to see get an expansion team?
City that I'd like to see. I don't know. I think there'd be all sorts of cool places. I guess just the thing that I'd say is that I feel like the more that we can do to expand baseball, I think
Yeah.
the better that is for the game, and just the more people that kind of connects to the game. Uh, I think that that's a huge positive, and it kind of shows just the health of baseball is moving in the right direction.
I feel like you were gonna pick something in the Northwest. That's the direction I thought you would go in, is like the Portland direction or something like that.
Yeah, I played real close by in Hillsboro, Oregon, coming up through the system, and you know they've got real passionate baseball people there, and so yeah, that'd be a good one. You know, I've heard people say Vancouver before. Get
Yeah.
another Canadian team in there, and just yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know enough about the ins and outs of the economics of baseball to be making that
Yeah.
call.
Well,
But
me either.
I think that there's plenty of great options that would be great for the game of baseball.
Corbin, as the self-proclaimed leader of the Corbin Carroll bandwagon, I have just out of nowhere created this nickname MVPCC. Now it might be rather presumptuous to say that, but I like to think of it more as like foreshadowing. And I don't imagine you're going to go around calling yourself that, but how do you feel about that? MVPCC. It's got a nice ring to it. Someday it's happening.
Yeah, I that's obviously you know the goal is just to be the best baseball player possible for myself, and I like that one. That one's a good one. I could be the MVP, my MVP, right, in my own mind. So,
So you mentioned, again, one of your goals ultimately, and that's kind of the last question I want to ask you. When all is said and done in your career, how do you want to be remembered? What is something when people look at your career, how do people remember Corbin Carroll, the baseball player and the person?
yeah, for sure. I think you nailed it right there at the end. I definitely want to be known for more than just the player. Obviously, that's important to me as well. Just playing the game the right way, and hopefully having a long, just successful, healthy career. Kind of, making this. I guess honestly, a big goal of mine is just making the outside perception of this contract being like, oh, he got fleeced, right? Like, I want to do good by the people that believed in me, in our organization. So that's a big goal of mine, as well as the impact off the field is important to me. Starting this year, got some cool stuff in the works, and so just that piece is important to me. That's my biggest goal in life, is just creating an impact on people, and I think that I can do that on the field, and I think that the big piece is hopefully off the field.
I love it. Well, Corbin, thank you for joining me, my friend. Big fan of you on the field, and become a big fan of yours off the field as well. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. You'll forever be a friend of the pod, and come back on whenever. Good luck this season, man. I'm rooting for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've appreciated the support.
Of course. Thanks, man. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course. That was fun. I appreciate it. I was hoping to. I'm glad it didn't run up to your bus. I didn't know when you were leaving for the stadium, but was hoping we had enough.
We're at the Cardinals right now in St. Louis, so it's just a walk, honestly. So
you're just walking right across the street. Easy enough.
Yeah, they've the card collectors have kind of got our route down, so that's some trouble.
Yeah. That's annoying. There's no way around it, huh? They need they need like a secret route to the stadium.
No, for sure. They've got like a little golf cart at the hotel that some people can take. I might take that one over there today. Kind of just zoom on by. But yeah, hopefully be able to get back on here. It was fun chatting.
Yeah, that was fun, man. Good luck with everything. I'm rooting for you. And I didn't want to ask this while we were on, or didn't want to say this because it was a little weird when I saw it. But the picture the other day of your parents dropping you off. That wasn't the weird part, but I got tagged from like 20 people, Corbin, saying that your dad is me in 30 years.
That's funny.
Literally, by like 20 different people. And then
That's
there was like somebody that photoshopped us side by side, and I was like, well, this is getting weird.
I can see with it. I can see that, I guess.
Well,
funny.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. I'm rooting for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I just wanted to thank again Corbin Carroll for joining me. What a blast of a conversation. The guy is going to be a stud, my friends. We can already see it. And now I've become even more of a fan of the person he is as well. So thanks to Corbin Carroll for joining me. What a great mentality this kid has to be successful in the major leagues. He has every bit of the attitude it takes, and you can hear it in his voice. You can hear it in the way he prepares and the way he goes about things. So thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed talking to him. So thanks again to Corbin. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple or Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you can watch every episode as well on YouTube at Flippin' Bats Pod for all of them. For this Wednesday episode of Flippin' Bats, that does it. Until next time, this has been another episode of Flippin' Bats. Peace.